What's going on, guys? Magdallan here. I've just got a short video for you today. I want to talk about the Monster Mods and Archnemesis modifiers Manifesto. I will start by saying I do stand by everything that I said in my contingent support video. I would still wait until the league is a couple days old and you're sure you're going to stick around before you spend any cash. That's what I'm going to do. However, this post is pretty positive, and I think it's worth mentioning that the post indicates that GGG is willing to make changes that are counter to the direction that they wanted to go in, and it indicates that they are listening to player feedback and taking it seriously, and I think that is, without caveat, 100% positive. It's 100% appreciated. 3 cheers, etc. But let's set that aside and take a look at the actual post. I think there are some things that are worth going over. So the first 2 paragraphs here, mods do one thing, that's great. Mods say what they do, and there's not a bunch of confusing stuff you have to memorize, also good. And then I would say this 3rd paragraph is a little bit of a mixed bag, because it seems to indicate that they are not actually removing the giant stacked rares that you encounter that shit on you. They're just going to make it less frequent. But we'll have to see how that shakes out with the way that they change the modifiers. Maybe they will achieve the, the vision of you kind of encounter every so often a bigger rare that's got a bunch of mods on it, and it's actually an engaging gameplay experience. I'm willing to withhold judgment based on the positivity surrounding the rest of what's going on here. Maybe this will work out fine and it'll actually be pretty cool. However, this last paragraph here that I want to go over, I think is, for me, seems like it could be just a negative all around. It seems like, if I'm reading this correctly, that they are going to include some new sort of reward types that might do some work in smoothing out the loot acquisition process for just blasting maps. But it also seems like what they're saying here is the problem was that you knew where the loot goblins were, so they're just going to not tell you that anymore. And that seems like it's just going to make it so that you have to make an MF character yourself and run it all the time, or you're just going to be losing out on the option to actually get the loot explosion out of these goblins. And the other option would be you would have to make an MF color yourself and then log over anytime you run into a juicy rare. And that does not sound fun to me. That doesn't seem like it really addresses the issue, which is that I think that an average competent player should be able to set up a reasonably optimized mid-level mapping strategy themselves and just blast it for a couple hours a day and be able to make enough currency doing that to fund the builds that they want to make within reason. Obviously, at that level of time, and if you're not doing the super optimized strategies, you're probably not going to be getting the absolute top tier items. But you should be able to have a solid, consistent income at doing that. And I did not feel like that was the case in 3.19. And I think a lot of people didn't feel like that was the case in 3.19. And I'm concerned that this doesn't really change that. It just makes it so that you're more pushed into make the MF color yourself. And so let's see what they do going forward. I think overall I'm optimistic. The phrase I've been hearing a lot is I'm cautiously optimistic. And if they put out another manifesto that addresses the loot or something else that is particularly interesting, I'll come back and cover that. But otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. I appreciate you.